the statement that was made this week, and what is it, before we get into the impacts of what it actually means, just your understanding of the announcement.
Okay, so the announcement is effectively a range of amendments to the original bill to try and facilitate better distribution processes by the National Lotteries Board. There have been a lot of challenges over the years with the board in the mid-2000s only distributing about 20% of what it was supposed to distribute for arts and culture and heritage. So there have been a lot of challenges, and many of the changes are very positive and are working towards trying to streamline, make things move faster, but some of them are more problematic.
Yeah, you're being very nice when you say problematic. Let's talk about the effect and the impact.
So effectively, there are two core changes that are highly problematic. The one is that previously charities, sports and arts and culture and heritage could apply for funding over a 3-year period. What that enables is an organization can plan over a 3-year period, build more slowly and more sustainably. That's been changed to a 1-year period for sports and for arts, culture and heritage, but not for charities. And then the other core issue is that the arts and culture percentage of the overall that the funding has been distributed for arts and culture has dropped from 28% to 20%, according to the draft amendments. And this is something, obviously, that will have major ramifications for arts and culture and heritage.
Yeah, and it keeps on, those percentages get smaller year on year. Let's quickly talk about the fact that government is heading towards what seems to be more sports-centric, and there are a lot of charities doing a lot of work on the ground, but that seems to be the direction they're heading in. I mean, let's talk about why. I mean, why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I think arts and culture is very aware that sport is a very supported thing in the country, and we're obviously welcome that sport is supported more. There's a lot of discussion around the need for development of sport at younger levels. However, it shouldn't necessarily be at the expense of other sectors. Sure. Yeah, and I think that's going to have major ramifications for arts and culture, who are going to end up effectively going backwards on the growth we've developed.
Well, we have asked the Department of Trade and Industry to be on the show, and they've confirmed that they'll be on the show tomorrow. Let's talk about this open session that you're having today and what we're hoping to achieve, because at the end of the day, is this discussion with the role players that have made this decision, or is this a discussion amongst yourselves to formulate a way or strategy or response going forward?
Well, the Arterial Network of South Africa has engaged with DTI in previous times, even around the National Lotteries Board, and we work with government a lot, and they're often very open to having these kinds of discussions. But today's meeting is really for everybody to come together to have a collective discussion and have a collective contribution towards the submission to the National Lotteries Board from the broader arts and culture and heritage industry, so that we have a sort of coordinated statement towards the National Lotteries Board.
At the end of the day, it's about money and it's about sustainability, and it's making sure that, I mean, if you're moving away from sports and charities, there are amazing work that's been happening in the arts and culture organizations as well, in almost the same space as development and,
yes,
and getting and going into rural communities. So paint a picture for me that what will happen once sport and charities are prioritized. What is the likely fallout? What are we going to see here?
Well, arts, culture and heritage has been growing a lot over the last couple of years, and Arterial Network South Africa has been involved in trying to understand the real contribution it's making to the economy and to the industry, and we recently did a report around the kinds of money that is moving between trade between the European Union and South Africa, for example, and they're quite significant numbers. And this growth requires kind of constant input and constant sustainability in order for it to go forward. But a lot of organizations, quite large ones and much smaller ones, rely on the National Lotteries Board as one of the primary funders towards the arts and culture. There isn't...
Not the only, but one of the
primary.
Not
only, but one of the primary. There are very few commercial funders that contribute a lot of money to the arts and culture. So there are a lot of organizations that face significant challenges for organizational funds, but also for important projects that are happening throughout the country.
I look at the impact of arts and culture, and I just remember we came out of France and SA season. Yeah. We've seen collaborations between South Africa and Britain, and other countries as well. We've got a ballerina now heading to the Czech Republic. In terms of the value that arts and culture has done for relationships between countries, building relations, even starting out from an arts and culture relationship to even a trade and economic relationship, is often undervalued. Do you think government has done enough to consult with the sector to find out before making this announcement?
One of our key concerns with some of these amendments is that we don't have a good sense of exactly why these decisions have been made. On the one hand, we understand that an evaluation has happened to have a better sense of why it sometimes takes 5 years for them to make a decision around funding for an organization, and that they've made specific decisions around how to do that better. However, we don't have a sense of why they're dropping the funding and whether they've done real impact assessments on that.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, Molemo Moiloa, talking to me. That was Arterial Network South Africa's Molemo Moiloa speaking to us.